Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes have a long history of being utilized by the African liberation movement. Though I will be showing how to use sweet potatoes in a number of ways, I will not be showing how to make sweet potato pie. I encourage everyone to get your sweet potato pies, the signature pies of Uhuru Foods and Pies, by going to uhurupies.org. Welcome to Reparations Wednesdays, Cooking and Lifestyle Hacks with Jackson. Uhuru, this is Jackson. I'm a proud member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. The Uhuru Solidarity Movement is the mass organization of white people working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, organizing in the white community to win other white people like ourselves to a stand in principled material solidarity with African self-determination, national liberation, and reparations. Our job is to win white people to raise resources that go towards the African-led economic development and political programs of the African People's Socialist Party as a concrete expression of our commitment to reparations to African people. USM is the mass organization of the African People's Solidarity Committee. The African People's Solidarity Committee is a constituent organization of the African People's Socialist Party. The African People's Socialist Party leads the overall Uhuru movement, of which USM is a part. Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. The Uhuru movement is organizing and uniting African people around the world as one people to liberate and unify Africa and African people everywhere under the leadership of the African working class. USM is a mass organization of primarily white people and others who stand in solidarity with the Uhuru movement. USM builds events, fundraisers, outreach activities, speaking tours, and national campaigns to raise resources as material solidarity with the Uhuru movement's African community-led self-determination and economic development projects, as a concrete expression of our unity with reparations. The USM 3 principles of unity are that 1. We work under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. 2. We recognize that African people have the right to lead their own struggle. And 3. We work in the white community for reparations. I am making this YouTube series as my Reparations Challenge, one of many fundraisers held by members and supporters of USM to raise reparations to African people. And now, on with the show. Sweet potatoes are incredibly versatile. Here I'm making some delicious veggie curry. So here I'm making just a tiny bit of mashed potatoes. And here we have them all nicely roasted. And here we have your sweet potato kale smoothie. So one of our viewers, Yui, asked me about how to make fast food items at home in a healthier way. And so some of the things that I'm making with sweet potatoes are sweet potato fries and veggie burgers. I definitely recommend putting sweet potato in your veggie burgers. And here they are, just out of the oven. Now let's get started. Here I'm making some delicious veggie curry in my large cast iron skillet. I'm sauteing some veggies for another curry. I have mushrooms and a big sweet potato I put in here, and kale and green beans. And then you can add the coconut milk, or another kind of milk if you want. But coconut milk is definitely the best, and add either your curry paste or curry spices. So I'm going to add some milk now. So you want to turn it down to simmer, turn it down to low. And I'll add a little bit more here. And once it's done, you can enjoy it with either some brown rice or quinoa, or on its own if you like as well. So I've added some ginger, now I'm adding some turmeric here. And you see this is onion. And garlic. And you can add some cayenne or other peppers to make it a little spicy if you want, sriracha. If you want to add, soy sauce or curry paste, those are options too. And the baked potato you can either do in the oven or the microwave. So then you'll enjoy your delicious curry. So here I'm making just a tiny bit of mashed potatoes. So I have, you can just cook the sweet potato in the pan, same with a lot of other dishes. For time, I tend to bake them in the oven or the microwave so that it cooks a little bit faster. So I have a sweet potato that I've cut into cubes here, and then mashing. I have some veggie broth in here, onion, garlic, salt. You can certainly add, whether you want to add cumin or cayenne or ginger, or if you want something a little sweeter and not as savory, instead of veggie broth, you can do plant milk or whatever you would like to do. And a lot of people don't keep the peel so that it's a little bit smoother. I tend to keep the peel with everything because it has lots of vitamins and nutrients and is very good for you. And I like things a little chunkier and not as smooth. So to each their own. So I'm just going to keep mashing this and add a little bit more veggie broth. I'm only making a small amount so I can demonstrate it for you all. And so just keep mashing until it's a bit smoother, until the liquid is all, not just out and about, but that it's, one with the sweet potatoes. And you can also put some kale in here as well, or other veggies, mushrooms. Get your extra veggies in there as well. So I'm cutting a sweet potato to make some roasted veggies. So you want to cut it in half if it's a larger one, and then do it in 3s or 4s. And then what you can do is you can stack them on top of each other and make another cut down, and then go along like that. So here I'm prepping some roasted veggies. Regular potatoes will cook a little bit longer than sweet potatoes. And normally what you would do is you would add the regular potatoes or the sweet potatoes and then roast those for a little bit in the oven, and then add your carrots and your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli, whatever else you want to do. I like my carrots cooked a little bit extra, and since sweet potatoes cook a little bit faster, I've just mixed them all together to do this. So you'll put some extra oil on it and your spices and mix it all up with your hands, and you'll put it in the oven. And about 20 minutes in, if you have a lower cooking oven, you could also do like 10 minutes in if your oven cooks a little bit more than that. Just stir it up with a utensil, and so that it cooks a little bit more evenly. And then you will add on your quicker cooking veggies like your greens. Brussels sprouts work really well, as does broccoli, green beans, whatever else you want to do to that after these cook for a little bit. Be sure to oil your pan first so that the veggies don't stick to it. And then you will mix everything together, the oil, the spices with the veggies, and then you'll put them in the oven for 400 and keep them in for about 20 minutes. Then stir them up with a wooden spoon or other utensil, and then you'll add your lighter veggies if you are doing those. The green beans, Brussels sprouts, whatever you want to do, if you want to do those, and cook for an extra 15 minutes, and everything will be soft and delicious and roasted. And here we have them all nicely roasted. Potatoes are also really great in smoothies. So I have a baked sweet potato I cut up, and I'm letting it cool for a little bit before making a sweet potato smoothie. Putting in some greens, it's optional. I'm just trying to get a little bit more greens in. It won't look as pretty probably with the greens in it, but it'll be very healthy. So I have the sweet potato in here, and now I'm going to put in some cinnamon and a little bit of cardamom. Actually a lot, I like cardamom. But only a little bit of clove and a touch of nutmeg. I put in some almond milk and put the lid on, very important part. And time to go. Stirring it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna blend for a tiny bit more. I don't think I'll add any more almond milk. I think I added just the right amount, but just trying to make sure I got all the spices that I've collected a little bit on the sides in. Then blend a little bit more and then enjoy. And here we have your sweet potato kale smoothie. You can put in some sweeteners if you want. You can put in some soaked cashews or almonds, some protein powder, whatever you want to do. Some ginger would be really good probably. It's very good at whichever way. And as you can tell, it would probably look, you know, depending on your taste and colors, might look a little bit prettier without the kale, but certainly healthier and tastes very good. Sweet potato can be eaten raw. It's not as easily digestible. Eating a few small pieces will, you know, add some extra nutrients to your smoothies. You can just drop a few in, or, you know, if you want to, you can just bite them, but it's not entirely recommended because they're harder to digest. So don't just bite into one like an apple. You can just eat a piece or two. It tastes a little bit milder than a cooked sweet potato, but it is, you know, in a vegetable potato that is very rich in nutrients. So while definitely recommend eating it cooked, you can have a few pieces raw. So I am making some black bean, quinoa, and avocado and sweet potato burgers. I put some of the black beans, so with the black beans I've soaked them and boiled them instead of using a can, and there's so much difference. I did not anticipate there being such a difference, but there's a lot, and they taste much better. And so I have put some black beans in here, and I'm going to mash them with a masher. You could also use a fork, but I think that this will be a little quicker and a little bit more effective. Certainly with the avocados, you could use either a fork or a masher, whichever one you prefer. So I've added a little bit of water to them so that they're not as thick. You could also use a food processor, but mashing works fine. Putting the avocado in here, I'm just going to mash it together. I do want to add that with avocados, you want to really scrape the inside because the dark green part next to the skin is the healthiest part with most antioxidants and things, so you want to make sure to scrape it really well. I have a baked sweet potato. You could bake it in the oven or in the microwave, and I'm going to spoon this in here as well and mash it all up with the quinoa. Put in 2 cloves of garlic. I'm doing just a slice of red onion. Then we mash everything up. Now, of course, you can use a processor if you want something more smooth. I like chunky things, and so this works for me. I realized I added a little bit too much water, so I put in some extra quinoa. So I've put that mixture in the fridge for a little bit to solid up, and I'm going to try to make them again tomorrow. This time I tried to see what would happen if I just put them in a pan, and it was very mushy, and while it will taste great, it's not going to make as good of a burger, so we'll see. While this mash didn't turn into successful veggie burgers without refrigerating first, after heating it, I will say it is very good to just have on its own. I even recommend using it as burrito filling. I think that would be delicious. So here are the veggie patties. What I did was I froze them overnight, and then I put them in my skillet with some olive oil, and they're still a little bit soft, but they came out pretty well overall. Next time I would use more quinoa, and I thought that avocado might make a pretty good binder, and I would definitely still put avocado in it. It adds a rich flavor, but I think next time I'll try a different binder, perhaps some called a flax egg, where you use ground flaxseed meal in with a little bit of water as a binder, and evidently that works really well. So they still turned out pretty well, a bit soft, and I think that with a different binder that they would be a little bit more burgery. So they're delicious, and I definitely recommend putting sweet potato in your veggie burgers. Another idea is to shred sweet potatoes, put them in a pan with some oil, put barbecue sauce on them for some sloppy joes. I learned that from a coworker. I'm taking Ann Hirsch's Reparations challenge, which is a wellness challenge, so I'm not doing barbecue sauce, but I definitely recommend trying that if you are not currently on Ann Hirsch's Wellness Challenge, although I encourage everyone to take that challenge. I have a lot more energy. So email info@reparationschallenge.com for that info. And I want to salute Jen, my coworker, for that tip on sweet potatoes. So I put coconut oil all over this pan here, getting ready for the fries. Put some extra coconut oil and some salt and garlic and onion powder, and then just, mix it up with your hands and get it on there. Make sure to wash your hands first, of course, and just get them all nicely coated and covered before putting them in the oven. And here they are, just out of the oven. So last time the sweet potato fries took a bit long to cook because I made longer ones. I'm trying it with shorter ones this time so that it's more like steak fries, and we'll see how this goes. So I'm using coconut oil on the pan, and I almost did them in the skillet here, but of course realize that if they're in a pan all spread out, they'll probably get crisper, which is also a problem with the last batch being so long. I'm going to try some fresh garlic this time that I'm about to press, and some fresh onion and mix it in, which would be a little harder to deal with if you're just, eating them with your fingers, but if you're, eating them with utensils as well as a side dish, I thought it'd be adding some extra flavor and be worth it when you're making it at home. So I pressed 3 cloves of garlic. Here I've diced 1/4 of an onion. Now I'm adding some salt on here. And now mixing it up with clean hands. Get everything all together and oiled, and get the flavors all set. The fries will absorb these flavors. Now, of course, you can use onion powder and garlic powder like I did before. And you can also add other things if you want, depending on what kind of fries you want. You can add cumin, paprika, cayenne, however you like your fries. And now I'm going to spread them out here so that they heat evenly. And we'll see how this goes. So last time I set the oven to 350. This time I'm trying 400. And it's preheating right now. I anticipated this not taking an hour, but I did that just for good measure. So these came out, as you can see, the onion kind of burned a little bit, but it really absorbed the flavor still into the fries, which are, so I did have them in for an hour. And I think next time I'll do more like 40 or 50 minutes, because some of them are a little bit too crisp, but still very good and edible. So I think it turned out pretty well overall. On April 6th of 2018, Uhuru Pies held a web live show called The History of the Sweet Potato Pie, and in it, a member of the African People's Socialist Party, Bakri Olutunji, spoke about that history.
The United States and how it's tied to the conditions of African people today.
Well, I think for most people, they think of sweet potato here in the United States, but the sweet potato itself came over with Africans on the slave ships. When we were enslaved as a people, we brought our agriculture, we brought our abilities to do a lot of things we were already doing in Africa. We were very self-determined people, providing clothing, and shelter for ourselves. So when we were captured and enslaved, we brought a lot of the technology, a lot of our ability to grow food, cook food, that came with us. So that's where the sweet potato comes from. It comes just like with the African people on those slave ships, it came with us. And it was just so important because it's something very special to the African community. It goes back to African bakers and cooks on the plantations. We call them forced labor camps. They call them plantations, and basically we were made to cook for the slave masters' families. So it wasn't something that we did it in the worst conditions, as most people know. The sweet potato pie was adapted and perfected by enslaved Africans in the U.S. as part of the whole process against the assault on Africa by Europeans, and they kidnapped us and took away our labor. I mean, they used our labor, took away our freedom and our labor and our resources and our land, and we were forced to cook and forced to labor for the European colonizers, which is something that, you know, the whole history of the sweet potato comes from that process. We face murder, slaughter, lynchings, as everybody knows, well documented. The power of life and death over us by the slave master and the white colonizers. So this is the things that we faced as a people. And through this whole process, because our labor was forced, it built the whole economy of the U.S. system that we know today, and that's capitalism itself. Capitalism is built off of the stolen land and stolen labor that we see today. The stolen land of the indigenous people, stolen labor of the Africans. And that is the foundation of this social system that we live in today. So we talk about the brutality and the violence that was inflicted by the colonizers to make this happen was unthinkable. And it still is today. So that's the reality that we face as African people. You could say that the sweet potato pie is part of the resistance, that we rejected the European pumpkin pie. And even today, when I'm out selling these pies, there are North American or white people who say, oh, is that a pumpkin pie? I say, no, it's sweet potato. And they look at me with the most puzzled look on their face, like they've never even heard of sweet potato pie, and they look, and then when they taste it, they're, oh my goodness, oh, you know, they really go through this thing. So the sweet potato was a cultural expression that kept us alive, and acknowledgement that we are Africans during the times of this fierce attack. Even during this brutality and things that I was talking about happening, we still have the ability with meager resources to create our version of our food and not relying on the European pumpkin pie that was foreign and alien, just as slavery was to us. So I just think that, you know, it told us that Africa was still our homeland, you know, because it came with us. It reminded us of what we was as African people. And regardless of wherever we've been and forcibly dispersed by this vicious system, the sweet potato pie has a deep history with us, and we can talk a little bit more about other aspects, because I can talk a little bit later about how it's a tradition within my family, but I know a lot of people can even hopefully online share their stories with us, sending resources in. So, you know, I just think that the sweet potato pie just has a deep, rich history in the brutality, in the slavery, in the resistance of African people, and it's just part of the genius that we created. This is something that is still indigenous to the African community today, as of 2018. So the sweet potato pie is a real rich history.
So here are some of the personal-sized sweet potato pies at Uhuru Pies. They're incredibly delicious, and there's all sorts of other kinds of pies too. And so make sure that if you're in St. Pete, Florida, or in Oakland, California, to stop by Uhuru Pies, or in the Tampa Bay area, or in the San Francisco Bay area, and to get your Uhuru Pies at uhurupies.org. Because of this colonial capitalist system from which we as white people benefit, because of the thieving of resources from African people, we in the white community have so much more access to food, and that's really important for us to recognize. The same conditions exist for African people in the U.S. as on the continent, where there are so-called food deserts, a lack of access to proper food, with mostly just gas stations providing any kind of nutrition, if you can call it that, for the Black community. This video is raising resources for the Black Power Blueprint, which includes Uhuru Foods and Pies, that is opening up a new headquarters in St. Louis, Missouri. Uhuru Foods and Pies is about the Black community having control over their own food, food production, and distribution. I really want to express my appreciation for everyone who has been donating, everyone who has been sharing, subscribing. I really want to appreciate all of you for tuning in and for supporting this reparations challenge. Every episode has a goal of $50 in reparations. Please donate at uhurusolidarity.org and put in the comments that it is for Reparations Wednesdays. What questions do you have? Leave a comment. The next episode will be on calendar hacks and keeping a calendar that actually works for you. Thank you for watching Reparations Wednesdays Cooking and Lifestyle Hacks with Jackson.